wallet, lift it up. Go ahead, lift up my wallet.
What if you could bring out one of your business cards? Have someone sign it, draw on it, whatever. You take that business card and place it into a folded dollar bill.
I want you to watch it because I'm gonna do this. I'll do it in the light so you can see it. But watch your card as it lays inside the bill, okay?
The business card then slowly, visually melts away right in front of their eyes.
I'll do this slow. Yeah. Lift up my wallet, lift it up. Go ahead, lift up my wallet.
Not only has that business card completely vanished, but it teleported underneath your wallet, which has been in view the entire time. Now, if you have a business card, there's no reason you shouldn't be doing this. And if you don't have a business card, now you've got a reason to get one. This is Kyle Purnell's business trip. You gotta check it out.
And I'm gonna give you one of our business cards, P3 Magic Theater, but I'll show you something cool with it before you go. You see the white side here? Either one of you, just take the Sharpie and sign your name, or you can draw a picture, whatever you want to do, but just mark it. And we're also gonna use some money here, but don't get too excited. I'm not giving it away, it's just a buck anyway. But what does that say, Christina? That's very fancy there. But I want you to remember that not only is your signature on the back, but the P3 logo is on this side. I want you to watch it because I'm gonna do this. I'll do it in the light so you can see it. But watch your card as it lays inside the bill, okay? I'll do this slow. Go on. Yeah. Lift up my wallet, lift it up. Go ahead, lift up my wallet. I'm glad you enjoyed. Thank you guys though. And make sure you check it out too. All right, nice to meet you guys.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Brandon and I want to thank you for purchasing Kyle Purnell's business trip. Now, this trick is pretty awesome. Let me show you how it works before I teach you how to make one. And it looks like basically a dollar bill is what it looks like. But there's this really cool gimmick that is attached to this bill, which is this thing here. It's a little piece of a business card with another piece of a bill on the back of it to disguise itself when it's attached to the bill itself. And how it works is I just pull it, there's magnets in there, it looks like this, I can close it over, and now it seems that there's a business card inside of this bill, and when I just reattach those magnets inside the bill, it looks as if it vanished. And that's exactly what it looks like. It's very easy to do, it's fun, and I'm gonna teach you how to make one of these right now. So let's get into the construction of Kyle Purnell's business trip gimmick. All right guys, so let's get into the construction of Kyle Purnell's business trip gimmick. I'm gonna show you how to make it. These are the materials, the items that you're gonna need. You're gonna need a few dollar bills. I've brought some extra ones, but you only really need 3 to make the gimmick I'm gonna show you how to make. 2 really, but 3 is optional, but I recommend have 3, you'll see why in a minute. Also, you're gonna need some Scotch tape and some double stick tape, all right? Have those types of tape ready, a pair of scissors, and the business card that you're gonna use. Now, I brought along with me 2 business cards to show you. This is the one that I'm gonna use, the one with the P3 Magic Theater written on it. And this is just a blank size business card. Most business cards that you're gonna use are gonna be the same size. The only difference between the 2 that you see here is that some are gonna have a corner that has just regular corners, and the other is gonna have the rounded corners. And mine has the rounded corners, but if you measure a typical business card, just so you know, it's gonna be about 1.5 or 3.5 inches in length, and also 2 inches, I'll show you that, 2 inches in width. And this is the same. The only difference is that the corners are rounded, okay? So make sure you have your business card with you, and you're also gonna be supplied with 6 tiny magnets. These are magnets, they're very small magnets, but you're gonna get 6 of these. Make sure you don't lose them. Put them somewhere safe until we get ready to use those as well. And once you have all the materials that you need, also one more thing before I get ahead of myself, you're gonna want some glue. I brought along with me Elmer's glue stick. This is the purple glue. If you have this, that's fine. I recommend using rubber cement because when you get ready to use your gimmick, there's going to be a section that can possibly peel off. And if it does happen, if you use rubber cement, you can just rub it back in place and it'll be fine. If you use a glue stick, it's going to dry. If it peels off, you're going to have to repair it more often. But either one works. I just recommend rubber cement. I'm just going to use this because it's less messy. I want to teach you guys how to make this right away. All right. So once you have those materials, we'll be ready to make it. So let's get into the actual construction of all the gimmicks. All right. All right. So once you have all your materials ready, we're going to go ahead and make this gimmick. What you're going to do to start off with is take one of your bills, all right, and make sure the bill that you use, it doesn't have to be brand new. It doesn't have to be perfectly crisp, but you don't want to have something that's a little old like this one. This one's a little old, a little worn out. Technically, you could use it, but it's going to wear out a lot quicker, and it just looks better when you have something that's a little more sturdy to make your gimmick with. Also, of course, you're going to need your business card. I'm going to put this one aside. This is the one we're going to use, or I'm going to use. Has the rounded edges, and if your business card also has rounded edges, I'm going to show you how to trim that up. And if you have the straight edges, you're good to go. It's going to be less work for you to do, but you still want to trim up at the end. And you'll see exactly what I mean. Take your $1 bill, right, and what you're going to do is you're going to fold it exactly in half with the face in the middle, okay? Meaning when you fold the bill, you see the green back part with the pyramid and the eagle on it. You'll fold that. Fold it in half as even as you can. All right, and you're going to take your business card and stick your business card right into the middle of the bill, like so. And another note that I want to add is the part that we're going to be making, the gimmick we're going to be making, is the serial number part that's on the right of the bill. So if you hold it with George Washington facing towards you, this is the part of the bill that we're going to cut out and use with our gimmick. So when you put this back in the card in your bill and fold it, what you're going to want to do is that same part with that serial number is you're going to fold the remaining of that bill over this. And that's going to give us a guideline, a little template as to what we're going to cut out. And if you remember earlier, this is going to be exactly 2 inches or about 2 inches. Most business cards are about that size. So once you've done that, you're good to go. And you're going to take your scissors here and be careful and take your time with this. I'm going a little bit faster than I normally would just because I want you guys to see how this gimmick is supposed to be made, right? And you don't have to cut all the way across. I'll show you what I mean. You can. It doesn't really matter if you do. And besides, unless you plan on saving this bill, which you're spending $1 to make a gimmick, which I think is worth it. Once you've done that, I'm cutting a little extra. You want to make sure you cut at least enough so that second part of that E right here, I'm not sure what that's called, but you want to make sure you still have that intact. Let me just go ahead and cut and show you what I mean. I'm cutting a little bit extra. I'm not going to use this whole piece that I'm cutting out, but I want to make sure I have more than enough. All right, and then you cut that. And the rest of the bill you can either discard, put away. It doesn't matter what you do with that. This is what we're going to use. Now, the border here, the top part that's right above where it says reserve note, you're going to cut. And there's a little tiny line there on the border too. You're going to cut all this, but you're not going to cut that line off. Instead, you're going to cut on that line. So this is just a guideline for me to cut that border right off. So I'm going to take my scissors and just cut. And there we go. I'll go ahead and discard this little tiny piece here. We don't need that. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take your business card. Now, when I look at my business card, I know that when I do the trick, before I do the vanish, I want this P3 logo to show right before the card vanishes here, right? And you want to cut about maybe a little more than 1/3 of the card. So for me, it's going to be right around this area where the G is. It's almost half, but not quite. But it's also more than 1/3, okay? And it's always good to cut more than you need. And if you cut about this much, then you should be good. Let me just go ahead and measure this, those of you who just want to know exactly what I just cut. This is about 1.25 inches. It's about 1.25 inches. That's what I cut. So that should be enough if you cut that. And that's what you're going to use. You're going to use this piece, and that's going to be our gimmick. We have our 6 magnets here. What you're going to do is you're going to turn your business card to the back where the white part is. And that's something else I forgot to mention. I'll mention now. Make sure the business card that you use has a white back for your spectators to sign on when you're performing the effect. Also, your double stick tape is what you're going to use now. I'm going to take off a piece that's about the width of my business card because, once again, we'll be able to trim that later if we need to. And you want to cover the entire business card with double stick tape, okay? And so you're going to take a couple of pieces and just put a piece on top of another piece, just kind of overlapping them as you go. And I'll get a close-up on the camera so you can see how I'm overlapping those two pieces of tape there. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add a third piece, which should be enough. I might add an extra piece, I don't know. But that should be good. And I'm just gonna go ahead over here and add another piece here to the top, which I'll trim later. And also you can see on the sides there, I need just one more piece just to make sure that that dollar bill sticks to this business card. So that's what I did. I just covered this entire business card with double stick tape. And now here's the part with the magnets. Make sure you pay attention to this part because this is important. You want to make sure that the polarity on your magnets are going to match up when you finally get ready to put the gimmick together. And so what you're going to do to start off is have all 6 of your magnets, make sure they're all stuck together. And what you're going to do is one magnet at a time, you're just going to pull the magnet off and stick it down onto the double stick tape. Okay, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to take a piece off, and it's also important where you're putting the magnet. So I'm just raising it right off, using my nails just a little bit. And I'm going to place this one about here, I think is a good place, right there. Okay, imagine that if we were to measure where it is here, which we don't need to, but I just want to make sure you guys can see, that's about 1/4 of an inch. About 1/4 of an inch both ways. You see that right there? It could be a little more, a little less, but that's about what you want. And I'm just going to estimate visually where to put this one. Once again, just lifting that magnet off of this the thing, whatever. Just lifting it off and then putting it down. That's what you're going to do, okay? And just look at the positioning here. Just try to emulate that, okay? And now I know that I'm going to cut a little bit extra here off of this. So what I'm going to do with this magnet is place it here, okay? And notice how I left a little bit extra room on the bottom to trim off, right? And also, the longer you cut the card, the more it's going to stick out of the bill. So this gimmick is totally customizable. You can actually play around with the gimmick. You can put it together, pull it back apart, and reposition the magnets if you need to. That's totally fine if you have to. And now I'm going to take this dollar bill with George Washington face towards me. The back, you're going to want to stick onto the tape here. And make sure that the top here with the border that you cut lines up with the border of your business card, okay? And I'm just going to press this down, trying to be careful to make sure that I get it lined up with the top. And everything else is going to have to be trimmed, which is totally fine. But you do want to make sure that top is nice and lined up. I'm going to press down a little bit. Make sure those magnets are in there really good, right? And if you're using double stick tape in the table, you might have to peel that off like I just did. That's fine too. And so that's the first step, is having that lined up here. And as you can see on the camera, this is what I'm going to have to trim off. And once again, if you are using a business card like this, which most of you will be, with the corners straight like this, that's less work for you to have to trim, which is fine too. And now I'm going to actually trim my gimmick. I'm just going to press down hard before I do. I want to make sure that that tape is really holding those magnets in place. And when you get ready to trim, just be careful. Take your time. You want to make your gimmick look nice, because if you make it right the first time, it's the only time you'll have to make it. Okay? Now, I've made quite a few of these, just playing around with it and just trying to figure out the best way to make it. And just from experience, I can tell you that the first one you make may not come out exactly the way you want. It's going to work. You'll be able to use it. But make a couple of them, and then you'll start to, get a knack for how you want yours to look. And I'll just trim here. Get that tape off my fingers. And then I'm going to trim here. Now, I might end up cutting a little bit off the back, you'll see. Maybe I won't. But if I do, I'll show you that as well. And I think that's good and trimmed up. I could probably trim it up some more, but you get the idea of what it's supposed to look like. You see that? And now, if you were to take another dollar bill, like for example, you want to get one that's also not too crisp, but not too old and worn out. And just match it up, you see. So you see how we have the one there, and then we got George Washington's face here, and then the border. Those would match up pretty good. And actually, you know, I don't think I would have to trim anything off of here. So I'm actually, you know what? I will trim just a little bit off. I'm just gonna trim just maybe this much. See? Press down. And that part of the gimmick is complete. Once you've made this, that is the hardest part of making the gimmick. And now the next step is using these other two magnets to put on the other bill, okay? Now, before we do put these magnets on the bill, there is one extra step that I kind of like to do here, and that is to take the border of another dollar bill, right? And cut this border off the back of the bill, right? And then I glue that onto the back of this bill. And what you're gonna get here, this is something that I've already made here because it's already dry, but you won't be able to really notice. Let me see if I can actually peel up a little bit on this one. That's rubber cement. And you see how I can pull that apart? But if that ever happens, all I have to do is take my thumb and my finger and just press down and it's restuck, it's restickable. And that's why I recommend using rubber cement as opposed to maybe an Elmer's glue stick. There's all types of glue that you can use, maybe something better than rubber cement, but this is what I recommend. So once you've cut the border off of the bill, you're gonna take your glue or your rubber cement and you're just gonna glue just that green section on the back of another one, okay? And then you'll get something that looks like this, all right? And the reason that I did that is so that when the gimmick vanishes during the effect, you won't be able to see through it. It's not gonna show through because you have two layers, okay? So I'm gonna use this bill that I've already pre-glued with the bag, the green back here, and we're gonna put this gimmick here using these magnets. And this is how you do it. Once you've made your border, whether you decided to do this or not, which I do recommend, once you're ready to place this here, you're gonna take a piece of your regular tape, all right? And what you're gonna do with the regular tape is you're gonna turn your gimmick over this way, right? You're gonna turn it over this way. And you have 4 magnets that are on your thing already. Imagine this, you're doing the trick, and this is the point where it's sticking out. You have to have a position where it's stationary. This is the stationary position. So what we're about to do is place magnets here, okay, on the bill. So to do that, actually I'm gonna get a longer piece of tape. You wanna get a long piece of tape that's about almost the width of your business card. And the fun part is this. Take one of your magnets, and you can do this with one hand. Just be careful not to drop and lose your magnet. So I have a magnet here, but the cool thing is I can actually just drop one of these magnets down and it's automatically gonna stick where it needs to go. Do you see that? And that's what you want to happen there. That magnet falls down where it needs to go. And I'm gonna do the same with this one. Just drop it down. And it's a little finicky because it's sticky tape and the magnets are really tiny. But once you've done that, what you're gonna do now is flip this all face down, go to your bill, and line up everything. So I'm looking at the one now, I'm looking at George Washington's face, I'm looking at those lines, I'm looking at the border here, I'm looking at the words on the top that says United States of America. I'm looking at all this and lining it up, and then I'm just pressing down like so, as hard as I can. And then you can lift up on this and you'll see that those magnets are exactly where they need to be. And you want to make sure that you press the tape down really good. You see where there's little bubbles, air bubbles where the magnets are. You want to press those out. You basically just want to make sure that those magnets are there to stay and they're not going to fall out, and that you'll be able to do the trick when you're ready to do it. Okay. And once you've done that, you should be all ready to go. You'll see now that if I place my gimmick on my bill, it's in the right place that it should be, but I can also pull it this way and it sticks there as well. And so now I'm here, I can place the gimmick inside, and my gimmick is complete. Now let me give you guys a tip. Once you've made your gimmick, what you can also do is this. I like to make it look like, you see those lines there? I like to make it look like that's part of the bill. Like this part here looks like it's just a crease, so that's covering up this. This border here is making that look like it's just a border. So what I do is I make another crease up here, okay? Once everything's dried, if you decided to glue this on the back of it, which I hope you do because it does make it look a lot better. And I'm just basically folding along those lines there, okay? And then I like to take the gimmick out and fold it a little bit more and just tease it a little bit. Like so. So that way, once you do the revelation at the end, it looks like those folds are just folds and they're actually hiding the gimmick, okay? And so that's how you make the gimmick. Now I'm gonna get into the handling of the effect itself. I'm gonna teach you how to perform Business Trip. So let's get into it. All right, guys, this is just a little troubleshooting tip that just happened to me. It's happened to me before, but before I fix my gimmick, I wanna show you what I'm doing here. I noticed something here. It's perfect here, it's in the right place, but when I slide it here, one of these magnets is a little bit off. So either my polarity is messed up and I have to flip the magnet over, or maybe I just need to move it to the right position. And I think that I just need to move this up a little bit to get it to stick right. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna carefully re-peel the double stick tape. And yeah, that's exactly what it is. You see how this magnet is here, but this one's a little bit more to the left? All I'm gonna do is just take that magnet and just kind of slide it and move it over so that it's parallel with the other magnet there, okay? And once I've done that, I'm just gonna close everything back up and re-stick the double stick tape and the bill back together. And let's see if that helped us at all. So I can stick it here, and yeah, it helps. So it's there, and I move it over, and everything's sticking the way it should. So that's just a quick troubleshooting tip for you guys. If your gimmick's a little funny and you need to fix something, you can always pull things apart and then reposition things. So this is totally customizable. So if that happens, it's easy to fix. All right, let me show you guys the handling for Kyle Purnell's Business Trip. First, I'm going to teach you the vanish of the business card from the bill itself. And basically, just to start, go ahead and have your gimmick in hand and just follow along with me. It's very simple. Just slide it to this position here where those two magnets meet and make your gimmick look this way. Okay, so all I'm doing here is, let me just show you from this view, is I'm just taking my thumb and sliding it here so that from the front it looks like this. And of course, you want this bill folded up this way. And now if you look at it in the mirror, it actually looks like there's a business card sticking out of your dollar bill. Now, if you make your gimmick and it's not sticking out enough, you might have to cut another one, but you want it sticking out at least this much to make it look like there's really a business card inside, right? And so take your business card or your bill, and you're gonna hold it with your right thumb and middle or index finger. You're gonna hold it like this. And then you're gonna take your left hand and reposition everything. Now you're holding it here, but you're gonna turn everything 90 degrees so that the business card is now on top and your bill is parallel to the floor, right? Once you've done that, you're gonna take it again and come back to this position. You're gonna open up the top, right, like this. Put your index finger inside, your middle finger and thumb are on the outside of the bill, okay? And what that does is give you some space, some air inside of it to actually take and grip the business card and pull up. It's gonna escape the magnetism of the magnets. You're gonna push this inside, pull back down, and you're gonna feel the magnets go back into place. At that point, you're ready to vanish the business card. You can let go, you can either flick or blow, open it up, and it's in this position. Now be careful. If you hold this position for too long, it is possible that the spectators or whoever you're performing for can see the gimmick there. But that's why we put those little folds and those little subtle things in the bill to disguise this, but you don't want to hold it that way too long. What I do is I take my middle finger and my index finger and I grip it here. That also covers that cut, and I turn it this way. I show the back, sometimes I show it one more time, and then I let it fold, and I let the fold face towards me when I drop it onto a table. That way, they can't see into the bill, and even if they did, most likely they wouldn't see anything, but you're a lot safer if you let it fall to the table that way. Now this is an over-the-shoulder, more close-up view of what's going on here, and so you can see the gimmick, right? All I'm doing here is just sliding this in the view so we can go over the handling of the vanish. So once you're in this position with your right hand, gripping the bill with your thumb and your index and middle finger in the front, you're gonna re-grip it with your right hand. And all you're doing is just displaying that there's a card in the bill. Turn it this way, right? I place my thumb on the bottom and index fingers on the top, right, with the bill, just like this. And I like to say something along the lines of, I want you to watch the business card as it lays inside the bill. I then turn it back this way. I slide it up a little bit with my middle and thumb, just enough so I can put my finger in there. It leaves me a little gap that I can play around with. And that gap allows me to take my thumb and my index finger on the front and actually slide that business card along the bill and slide it inside so that those other two magnets stick to the bill. And once that happens, you're ready to make it vanish. You can either flick or blow, let go, and then I take my index and my middle finger and I grip here. That not only disguises that cut or that line, but as I do that, I keep the bill in motion. You don't have to go extremely fast. You can do this and that should be enough to cover it. And when I get here, I let it flap, the flap shut or the bill close, and I drop it on the table with the opening towards myself. And you could even drop it into your hand. So let's just go through that one more time. It's in this position. I show the bill. I want you to watch the card as it lays inside the bill. I make it vanish. I flick it. I turn it a few times. I drop it, and the vanish is complete. All right, so let's go over the whole routine here. You know the handling. You know how to make the card vanish. Now let me teach you how to make it reappear under your wallet. All right. Now, when you're doing this routine, you're going to want to have some business cards inside your wallet to use, obviously. You also want to make sure that the business cards have a white back so that when they sign or draw a picture on the card, you can clearly see it. And you also want to have a Sharpie in your pocket as well. Okay. And those are the items that you need for the effect. You got your gimmick, you got your wallet with your business cards, and a Sharpie. That's all you need. And once you have that, I'm going to bring out the wallet. And this is what you're going to do also. Getting ahead of myself again. But you want to make sure that this gimmick, your bill that you made with the side that slides off, you want that facing away from you in your wallet. So imagine that this is my wallet, my hand. This sits in my wallet like this so that when I pull it out, when I open it, I know that my gimmick is going to be on top. So I always keep this gimmick in my wallet towards the back, like so. And so when I pull it out, I can bring it out that way and then open it up like that. And I always know the gimmick's going to be here. So that's going to sit in your wallet. Your business cards are sitting in your wallet, and your Sharpie is in your pocket. Okay, it doesn't matter which pockets they lie in because everything's going to happen outside of your pocket. So to start, I bring out my business card. I show it to them. You can say whatever you want. You just want to get them to sign the back of the card. And while they're signing the card, while they're doing this, I bring out my bill. And I say, I'm also going to show you something that uses some money. I don't get too excited because it's only a bill and I'm not going to give it away. You can say what you want. It doesn't matter. But while they're doing that, you're bringing the bill out of your wallet. You're bringing it out of your wallet. The gimmick's on top. And I just hold my thumb on top of the gimmick in the bill as I talk. Once they're finally done drawing on the bill, you can have them cap it. You can take the Sharpie back. It doesn't matter what happens to this afterwards. But the signature's here. I turn it over and I say something about the front of the business card or whatever your business is or whatever it is that you do, just say something about it. And I make sure that I look at the P3 because I know on my gimmick here, this is what they're going to say. So I need to make sure that's orientated correctly. And the way I do that is draw attention to this, draw attention to this, and now I know exactly what I have to do. I'll turn it back over one more time. I'll use my wallet to pick it up, look at it. You can take it back here with this hand. Draw attention to it, but always make sure that the part that you want them to see is going to be facing them. It's going to be in the front, above my thumb. So now, this is the move. I'm taking the bill with the gimmick here that slides this way. I'm placing it here, and at the same time, I'm going to risk kill my wallet as I slide this into view. So watch, this is what it looks like. I'm going to do this at an exposed view. I'm sliding this forward. At the same time, I'm going to risk kill and place the wallet onto the table. Put the wallet down and now you can do the move. And basically, it's just holding the bill. You're showing everything up until the last second. It vanishes. It's completely gone. Don't be afraid to throw the bill on the table because as far as they're concerned, that business card completely vanished. And when you finally draw attention to your wallet sitting on the table or the bar, wherever, and they lift it up, they're going to see that their signature is staring them right in the face. And that is going to give you incredible, amazing reactions. I know I love doing this. And the reactions you get from it are incredible. So let me give you guys just another walkthrough of the handling, and I'll teach you some alternate handling. So once again, you've got the bill in your wallet with the gimmick on top. You got your business cards, you got your Sharpie. Everything's in your pockets, all right? I bring out my wallet, I bring out a business card. I bring out my Sharpie. I have them sign their name on the business card. While they're signing their name on the business card, I'm pulling out a dollar bill. As I pull that bill out, I remember that my gimmick is on top, right? I then draw attention to their signed card, make a joke, say whatever you want. Make sure that their signature's faced up so that when you take it, you can then show it. Make sure the P3 logo or whatever logo is on your gimmick is on top above your thumb. And if it's not, let's imagine that it's this way and you've picked it up. You can always show what they've written again and then reorientate it that way. You want to do that because now you're going to come here, slide that forward, wrist kill the wallet, place the wallet down, and then draw attention, all attention to the bill with the business card in. And once you've done the vanish, the effect is over. Build this up. The further you can get away from the wallet that's on the table, the more powerful this effect's going to be. As opposed to me being right here when it vanishes, imagine that I may be 5 or 10 feet away from the wallet when it vanishes. And then when they finally lift it up, they'll notice that I'm way over here, yet their business card is now over here. So it's an impossible vanish and reappearance of a business card. And I think you guys are gonna really enjoy performing it. Just try it a few times and you're gonna love it, all right? All right, guys, these are some, not variations, but some alternate ways or some alternate handlings you could use if you didn't wanna use the wallet. My buddy Dalton has a really cool idea of actually bringing the bills out of your pocket, like in a stack. Maybe you can have these bills rubber banded together, and then you can bring them out and just bring out the gimmick as you're looking through your cash, and then bring it out that way before you do the effect and put everything else away. That's one way that you can bring out the money. You can bring all this cash out of your wallet and then go through the cash and imagine that you're just pulling out a random one. That's one thing you could add into it, presentation-wise. A handling that I've actually come up with, that I've used a few times, and by the way, I think the wallet method is going to be the best method, but just some ideas for you guys to maybe think about. Maybe you can come up with some cool stuff too is, for example, the business card, without using the wallet, I would have them sign the back of the wallet or the back of the card and have this placed on my hand. So I'd pick it up off the table, place it down into my hand, and instead of using a wallet, come here, take this, and now the card is palmed. And while that card is palmed, I can do all this, right? I can show the bill, and then when I reach down to pick up my wallet and put my wallet into my pocket, I now have the business card behind the wallet. I can then place the wallet into my pocket. I can do all the moves where the card actually vanishes, and once that card is actually vanished, I can either pull that business card out of my pocket, or I can pull the entire wallet out of my pocket and then pretend to pull that business card out of the wallet this way. So if you have a card to wallet or something that you could use with this, and these are just a few ideas just to maybe help you get your creative juices flowing, you know, your creative process, get you thinking a little bit. But most importantly, guys, I just hope you love this routine. I hope you love the gimmick. I hope you enjoy making it and performing it as much as I do. Once again, this is Kyle Purnell's business trip. Have a great time with it. Thank you, guys.